So as promised, I said I was going to look at Kent's video last week, and I did. He spent literally half the video bitching about the age of the universe and saying it's imaginary without any evidence. I am at the point with him that I just want to think he is imaginary. The rest was just a recap of his lies in the textbook section, which we've already gone over, so we'll turn to YouTube's Shorts to address some things claimed by the young earthers. So, yes, we're going to be having a little bit of fun this week. There are so many short videos that I wanted to address and have looked at. I thought, you know what, it might be fun to go over a few of them and see what a few people think. Angel and Demon?
So, how can I help you?
Shall we get started like right away? I don't think we need to introduce everyone one at a time or anything here.
Can science tell us the age of the Earth?
Yes, it can.
Actually, science can't tell us anything. Scientists tell us things. Now, what people are really saying is, can scientists actually determine the age of the Earth?
Yes, they can.
Well, there's only one way to determine the age of the Earth, and that's if someone was there who saw it all happen, who revealed to us when that happened. And we have someone, and that is God, who created all things, who tells us he made everything in 6 days, made Adam on day 6, and then we have the genealogies that list when people were born and died. You can add up all those dates, you can come then to Abraham, and then to Jesus, the babe in a manger, and then to the present, and when you add that up, it comes to about 6,000 years. And there's nothing in observational science that contradicts that, because all man-made dating methods have assumptions, they're all fallible, they all cannot be trusted to give absolute dates at all.
I was worried about this one and wondered when this stupid comment would come up. Were you there when God did it? Were you there when God wrote the Bible? Did God show up at your doorstep with a care package in his gleaming holy light or a pillar of fire? Did you experience the beginning yourself? Did you shake hands with Adam and Eve? No? Then you are making way more assumptions than any scientist ever did in their lives. You are assuming that the Bible is the inspired work of a deity. You are assuming the other inspired works of deities are false. You are assuming your God created the universe. You assume he has abilities and powers and gifts and laws. He would have to assume that the genealogies are correct. And I could go on and on and on about this guy's assumptions. They are uncountable, the amount of things he would have to assume were true that he wasn't there to witness in any way, shape, or form. On top of that, we have an insane amount of things in observational science that does contradict it. I have an entire show dedicated to showing the failed logic that young earthers make. You're watching it right now. The funny part of this is the fact that the dating methods are falsifiable is what makes them so credible. Because there is a way to attempt to prove them wrong, and they're demonstratable to be trustworthy. To say that the Bible is infallible would mean there couldn't be an argument over it, and yet there are uncountable numbers of denominations of Christianity and arguments over the book. If the Bible were infallible, there would be no argument to be made. Get out of here.
Okay, fine.
No, Demon, not you.
Oh, right. Of course.
Next clip, Angel.
Did you know that Neanderthal and Denisovan are mentioned in the Bible?
Yeah, I did not know that. And I have read the entire thing. I'd love to hear this bit.
It describes cavemen in Scripture. In Job, written over 4,000 years ago, Job describes certain vile men, thieves who were driven from society and forced to forage among the bushes for survival, and who live in the clefts of the valley, in caves and among the rocks. They are nameless fools, outcasts from society. We clearly see that cavemen were simply outcasts and vagabonds, not our primitive ancestors that secular scientists have assumed they were.
Did you see how he kept that one part of Job very dark and hard to read? He is saying that was Job chapter 10, but it's actually not. It's Job chapter 30 instead. So he's not off to a great start using his video to lie without a word. That's a really bad move, kid. I guess he was expecting people, not to check up on him.
Maybe.
So the scripture disagrees with him. Job chapter 30 is talking about the people he preached to about God, the people of a city. Those people that were loyal to Job now mocking him. These people talked about in Job were supposed to be normal, average citizens if you read the context starting in chapter 29 and going into chapter 30. It is all one statement with Job speaking, separated by what he was in 29 and what he is now in 30. Followers of my channel will remember that I always encourage you to read the Bible in context when it is quoted to you, and always keep it in context when quoting it yourself. So no, the Bible doesn't talk about the Neanderthals here at all. They did not live with modern-day humans like that. Just another dishonest young Earth creationist. Next.
Mark, you say that the solar system cannot be old. Can you give us one evidence?
Ooh, new one. These are going pretty fast. Solar systems have to be young now too. Okay, let's see what he's got.
Well, there are lots, but let me just share this one with you.
Oh, this has got to be his best one then. Come on then. I'm excited to hear this new shit.
The inner moons of the planet Uranus, there are about 13 of them, and their orbit radii differ by a mere 10,000 kilometres. So that means those moons have almost exactly the same orbit period, so they pass each other very slowly. So they'll gravitationally interact and their orbits will become disturbed to the point where they will collide. And astronomers recognise this and they say, these moons are going to collide in less than 1 million years. They could not have been orbiting Uranus for 4.5 billion years, which is the claimed age of our solar system.
Right, so he's got nothing. Why does he have nothing? Because this really is nothing. Most of the moons in the outermost planets are captured objects from the Kuiper Belt and will eventually leave the orbits or crash down into the planets. For example, eventually Saturn will no longer have rings in a few million years, or at least not like we see them today. Now, the interesting thing here is the moons he is talking about are within the ring systems of Uranus, which means it's actually more likely that those moons are parts of a larger moon that broke up due to something called tidal forces when the moon is within another thing called the Roche limit. As a short explanation, the planet Uranus holds a planet in orbit from gravity. The moon holds itself together with gravity. And the closer something is to that center of gravity of the planet, the stronger the effect. At the Roche limit, the gravity is affecting the moon so much that it starts to pull the moon apart, with one side of the moon having a significantly stronger pull on it than the other side. The moon starts to split apart under those tidal forces and shatters. The moon then breaks up into smaller and smaller pieces, which eventually, in a great length of time, form a ring. If our moon were about 11,850 kilometers from the Earth, the gravity of the Earth would break it apart and form a ring. This may actually have happened once in Earth's history. So what's going to happen with those moons around Uranus? Well, they will collide and will just form another ring around the planet, just like the other ones it has from the billions of years it's been there. Most of these guys have 2 brain cells in total, fighting for 3rd place. We have time for one more? Thank you, Angel.
This right here is an exact replica that was done of a polystrata fossil. Polystrata meaning that there's a fossil going through multiple strata now.
Oh, I have a feeling I know what this is. He didn't say what kind of fossil it is, but, well, let's just keep going for now.
Scientists would say that the strata here is about 2 million years old.
If this is what I think it is, yes, it would be 2 million years old. Not a problem at all. I'll explain in a moment, just in case it's something else.
But that can't be, because that can't remain intact while that's taking place.
It can if it's what I think it is.
Here you've got coal down here, and clay and sandstone and limestone, and so what this says is that this deposition took place rapidly while it went around and surrounded this tree trunk. And that is another proof of a worldwide flood and a young earth.
Yes! There it is. The trees and the layers. I did guess right. So anyway, okay, so how did this happen? Well, it's actually really simple. The tree didn't rot. And it didn't rot because bacteria that caused the rotting hadn't actually evolved yet. And the cellular walls of a plant are actually much stronger than that of a person, so to speak. The tree trunk became petrified in a standing position and allowed layers of mud and sand to come in and settle at the base of the now petrified tree. As that settles and turns to stone, like the tree is, the rock layers climb and climb until the tree is completely covered. That being said, bro is bullshit. That isn't even an exact replica like he said at the very beginning. It's a replica, sure, but the actual tree this is referring to can be seen here. See how it's not curved strata, but very uniform? It's close, sure, but not exact at all. It's a representation of the actual fossilized tree. Everyone, please do your research. I really feel like I'm bullying the young Earth creationists at this point. Do you think we should stop?
He's got a few more hits in him.
I like your thinking. There's not much we can say more about the young Earth, though. It's usually the same points over and over. It's getting difficult to find new points. Anyway, so as of the recording this, we are 7 subscribers away from the 500 target, so we can set up the 5-hour live stream.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought that 9 months ago, a 10-minute toss-away video on Darth Dawkins would have turned into this? But we should get out of here. I am Corsi, and this is the Fluffy Atheist. Hit those like and subscribe buttons, and remember, a little research goes a long way. Let the Fluffy Atheist do it for you.